Time for In My Opinion now, and the ongoing debate about working from home. Entrepreneur and philanthropist and Phones for You founder John Caudwell thinks working from home is bad news for the economy. Morning, John. What is it that makes you think that working from home is damaging to the economy? Because looking at all the studies that have been done, they appear to suggest that productivity is increased by working from home.
No, that's impossible. Absolutely impossible.
Why is it impossible?
Well, if you let me explain, I will do. There's three particular areas that I consider detrimental. One's personal and the other is the local economy. If you look at personal health, Bupa have already done a study saying that 1/3 of people working from home overeat and 1/5 exercise less. Now, given that we're a nation that is rapidly becoming obese, and we've got a lack of exercise culture, that in itself is just a negative thing for the individual's personal health. If you look at office growth, we really need people in the office so that there's an interaction, a social interaction, stimulation, learning and coaching. Where do the new young people get their learning from if everybody's working from home and not there in an interactive environment? And the other point is that some people are not made from working from home. They're not self-starters. They're not conscientious. And what actually in that case keeps those people working on target is a manager managing the people and an environment that's stimulating and helps them to perform at a higher level. And then finally, you've got the effects on the local business economy. Now, that particular effect is no reason to go back to the office in itself, because if the evolution says that we're better and more effective and more healthy working from home, then the local business has to adopt to that new climate of change. That's an inevitable fact of life. Life changes and we have to adapt to it. But at the moment, those other items are not in place. I don't believe it is good for personal health, and I don't believe it's good for the business. And it's certainly not good for the local economy.
Did you not factor in things like the massively reduced commute time? I mean, obviously, commute time goes from whatever it is when you go to the office to 0, and that allows people to be more rested, to possibly work more hours. Like, did you not take that into account?
Of course, yeah, there's clear advantages for certain people in certain environments. There's clear advantages, but that doesn't take away from the disadvantages I've just listed. For some people, it is going to work and it's going to be beneficial to the environment, beneficial because they save travel time and all the costs to the environment that go with that. And of course, they save themselves hours. But then many people say that commuting is a very positive thing for them in travelling backwards and forwards. It gives them a bit of a switch off time and a break from home and an introduction to work. So there's all sorts of different arguments for this, but my core arguments are very valid. We cannot have an office that's empty of people. Where are the new young people? Where are the 18-year-olds, 21-year-olds going to be trained? How can they be trained when there's no interactivity? You know, you need that interactivity. And this comes from a person who built a business up from 1 person to 12,000. And could I have done that if people were working from home? Impossible. I needed the interactivity of picking up on people, seeing how they were handling calls, seeing how they were handling customers, and being able to correct them real time and help them grow.
You mentioned how, businesses have to adapt and evolve according to the current conditions. And aren't those young people that you're talking about very used to socialising online?
You can't do it. It's impossible. You can't do what you're just suggesting there because you've got an office environment. Look, I used to sit in the middle of 20 people.
Yeah, but this is years ago, John.
No, let me finish. I'd hear conversations about the way they were interacting with the customer, and I'd jump in and say, just hold on a second, you can't say that, you can't do it that way. We'll end up with a environment where people are way less able because they've not had that on-the-job coaching, minute by minute, hour by hour. It's crucial to grow people. We can't learn with our expert coaches helping us along the way.
But those coaches don't have to be in person. I mean, there's lots of people, getting in touch with us this morning on both sides of this debate. So I'll play you a couple of voice notes. There's one here from Chef.
Morning, I'm Chef from Guernsey. Seems to me all those that are saying it's going to be catastrophic, etc., are from a much older generation. I've got young adult children, and they certainly do not want to return to working to the office full time, maybe some sort of hybrid, but it's given them so much more ability to enjoy work-life balance and not spend hours on a train. They're very concerned about climate change, as they should be, so it cuts down emissions. I also think it's good for mental health. It means that they can take part much fully in higher achieving roles whilst staying in a safe environment. I actually think it's a win-win.
What do you think about that, John?
I think they're very good points that she makes, but it's not true overall for the overall population. It's okay for certain individuals who are conscientious, who work hard, and who are not needed to be inspirational in the office because their job is very siloed. So there is absolutely a place for working from home. I'm not saying there isn't. What I'm saying is people need to get back to work, and working from home needs to be on an individual basis where the employee requests it, the employer accepts that that's a positive thing for that person, and make sure they can manage it properly.
Really good to get your views this morning. Thanks for your time, John.